House that the seat of Darlene Tana became vacant by application of section 55(1) FA and 55A of the Electoral Act 1993 on the 22nd of October 2024. This is a serious matter and the first time that the provisions inserted into the Electoral Act by way of amendment in 2018 have been used to declare a seat vacant. It's not a matter that I've taken lightly, since it affects the composition of the House. I've taken advice and carefully considered the law. I'm satisfied that the motion delivered to me by the parliamentary leaders of the Green Party of Aotearoa, New Zealand, complies with section 55C of the Electoral Act 1993 and is accompanied by a statement that meets the requirements of section 55D of that Act. Accordingly, I've given notice that the seat has become vacant. Members, I've received a letter from Willowchin Prime seeking to debate Understanding Order 399, the government's efforts to end a protest at a youth justice residence. This is a particular case of recent occurrence for which there is ministerial responsibility. However, it does not reach the threshold of being urgent enough to warrant setting aside the business of the House today. The application is declined. Petitions have been...
So I think that's our more somewhat serious, light-hearted thing to start off with. I personally thought Darlene Tana was going to turn up to the chamber, be told that she's been booted out, and then be dragged out by the Serjeant of Arms. I'm bitterly disappointed.
Apparently she was pretty relieved to go, from what I heard.
Was that what she told Mikey Sherman?
God, his story changes all the time.
I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was worried about that. This kind of issue needs to be handled immediately and not grow legs. And I'm kind of glad that she's now gone.
On the good side, I will say, is there's been a rule book somewhat established on what is the right way to do it. Even though I do think the way the Greens have done it have dragged out a lot longer than it could have been. But I do believe that they've put all the checks and balances in place that if it is challenged in the courts, it's not likely to stack up in Darlene's favour.
I think the reality there is that, you know, they needed to... they're in a rock and a hard place. They didn't really want the Walker Act to be there in the first place, but then they were the ones that had to use it. And it's kind of a difficult position to be in. So you've got these newer MPs that weren't against the Walker Act when it came in, and they're there now, and people change and politicians change. And it was an appropriate use at an appropriate time. So I think it sets precedent, really. And I'm glad
circumstances also change as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad that she retained her own dignity and not needing to be hauled out fighting and screaming. We don't need any more of that kind of drama. Parliament's dramatic enough at the moment.
Yeah. We actually had a situation where an MP was dragged out by the Serjeant of Arms since we've had cameras in Parliament.
I don't know. I'm sure Muldoon's times were pretty freaky. I mean, I was a teenager watching it and through a teen's eyes, and that was pretty freaky back then. So I wonder if cameras coming in place has actually made them behave a little better, but I doubt it. I'm not seeing grown-ups these days in Parliament.
Yeah.
Kindergarten all over again.
I don't have a crab rave. I don't have a crab rave for the occasion, but I got a cat rave.
Well, you know, they're eating all the cat. Oh no, sorry.
No, we don't do that.
Wrong country.
Gosh, have you got things to say, Mr. Biggie?